Let's see another problem related to parenthesis. Okay, so this is a popular LeetCode problem. So it's called valid parenthesis. So you would be given a string which contains character like the following: this one, then this, then this, then this, and this. So you need to determine if the input string is valid. Okay, an input string is valid if open bracket must be closed by the same type of brackets. Okay, open bracket must be closed in the correct order. Okay, every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. So we need to understand this problem. Thus, if there is an opening bracket of this type, then there will be a closing bracket after that, immediately after that, of the same type. Okay, so if you have curly bracket like curly braces, so it will be immediately followed by a closing curly braces. Okay, if you have a opening square bracket, so it will be immediately followed by a closing square bracket. Okay, so this is the problem statement. So uh, 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 we have a opening bracket of this kind, then there has to be a closing bracket of this kind, so you need to return true. And this example is already discussed. Example 2 is already discussed in the question statement. Suppose in example 3, if you have a opening bracket of one kind and closing bracket of other kind, then you need to return false. Okay, getting my point? Okay, so let's see like what is going to be an approach through an example. So if we have a string which has opening bracket of this kind and closing bracket of this kind, so how do we follow? Uh, so what do we do is we simply insert the opening bracket into the stack. Okay, and what we need to check is we need to check if we have a closing bracket of the same type and the stack is not empty. Okay, and stack dot top top means the top element of stack has the opening bracket of the same type. Okay, so when we encounter a closing bracket, the stack should not be empty, so the stack is not empty. Okay, and we should have a the top of the stack should have a bracket of the same type. So we have an opening bracket of the same type, so we will simply pop this out. Okay, and later we will check if the array is empty, then we have a valid parenthesis. Okay, so let's take another example. So in the second string we have an opening bracket of this kind, so we'll immediately push it to the stack. And when we encounter a closing bracket of the same type, we'll see if the stack is empty or not. The stack should not be empty, and the top of the stack should have an opening bracket of the same type, so it has a opening bracket of the same type, so we'll simply pop it out. Okay, the next state when we reach this part of the string, so it has a square bracket, so we'll simply push it, and when we encounter a closing square bracket, so we'll check if the top of the stack has a opening square bracket and the stack is not empty, then we'll simply pop it out. Okay, then similarly when we encounter a opening curly bracket, so we'll simply insert it to the stack, and when we encounter a closing curly bracket, first we'll check if the stack is not empty, and if stack is empty or not. Okay, the stack is not empty, and whether the top of the stack has a similar kind of opening bracket, so it has, so we'll just pop it out. Okay, finally if the stack is empty, then we have a valid parenthesis. So let's take the third example. We have a opening bracket. Okay, we'll simply push it to the stack. Okay, and the next bracket that we encounter is a closing square bracket. So as per the rules what we followed above, we'll check if the stack is empty, the stack is not empty, and whether we have a opening bracket of the same type. So we don't have an opening bracket of the same type here. Okay, when we try to insert this, what this will not be inserted actually. Suppose we encounter this bracket, okay. So when we try to check what's the top element of the stack, so it is so it's a bracket of a different kind and the stack is not empty, so in that case we'll return false. Okay, so let's see the code. Suppose we have a string which has uh, a round opening bracket and it is immediately followed by the round closing bracket, and we have we have a curly bracket, opening curly bracket, and it's immediately followed by a closing curly bracket. Okay, so we have brackets of two kinds here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a object of the solution class, and I am simply passing the string to the get valid parenthesis method, and I am printing the return type, whether this is true, this is a valid parenthesis, or false if it is not a valid parenthesis. Okay, so let's see the get valid parenthesis function. So here we have a stack, okay, and I'm looping over the elements of the string. So if we get the opening brackets of any kind, okay, so if we get the opening bracket of any kind, suppose we have a opening square bracket also, so let me put that in the question. Okay, so uh, if you have bracket any opening bracket of any kind, so we simply push it to the stack. Okay, and if the string has a closing bracket, okay, we need to check if the stack is empty or not, and if the top element of the stack has a opening bracket of the same kind. Okay, so if it does, then we need to simply pop that out. Okay, or else or else for your explanation, if okay, suppose this happens. Okay, the character at the string is a round bracket, round closing bracket, and the array is not empty, and the top in the top element of the stack we get an opening bracket of this kind. So in that case the we don't have a valid parenthesis. Okay, so we need to return false. Okay, so and if this is successfully executed, and what will happen, the array will become empty. Okay, so if the array is empty, we'll return false, else will return array is empty will return true, and or else will return false. Okay, so let's execute this. So we have a string of this type, so this has the valid parenthesis. Let's execute and see. So we are getting output as true. So uh, so this is correct. So let's see, like if the input is something like this. Okay, so we have a opening and closing bracket of the same kind here, but here we have opening and closing brackets of different kind. Okay, so let's see what is the output. So here we are getting false. Okay, I hope you were able to understand this problem. Please like, comment and subscribe our channel. So thank you all.